Alright, hi. So, this is for Nate, and my face is invisible, but to make burns with liquid latex. So obviously, you need liquid latex. I got this for $16.99 at Spirit of Halloween, but you can order it offline if they're not open now. Always make sure that you shake it really, really, really good, because a lot of stuff settles on the bottom. You need a little container for said latex, because you don't need a lot of it at all. You need some makeup brushes. I use... It's really not an exact science. There's no perfect way to do it, because no burn looks the same. But I use my e.l.f. Natural Colors palette, and some various different drugstore makeups. But you could get, honestly, a few different dollar store colors that look really gross. The main thing I use is a really, really dark lipstick. Like, really dark. It's like burgundy. So, to start, you're gonna take some of your latex and pour it into your container. Like I said, you really don't need a lot. I used way too much here. I'm gonna have a lot left over. And I use my fingers. Some people use makeup sponges, some people use Q-tips, whatever. I just use my finger. So, I'm gonna do this on the back of my hand. And a fair warning, when you're taking the latex off, it does pull hair. So if you have hair on the back of wherever you're putting the latex, I do highly suggest shaving it. So, just dip my finger in the latex, and I rub it over the back of my hand until it's a nice thin layer. Some of it's going to kind of peel off if you rub too much, and that's fine. Just kind of rub that section away. You're going to need it to dry a little bit and then put another layer or two on it. But for the sake of saving my camera battery, I'm just going to do 2 layers. Now, mainly what I'm going to use, like I said, is the lipstick. I'm going to use a few different dark eyeshadows for inside the burns. And with burns, there's also going to be bruising in a lot of cases, so you need some kind of green. And because the latex doesn't like to hold makeup very well, I like to use a makeup primer and a cover-up. So once this starts to dry pretty good, you're going to need a pair of tweezers. And you're going to take the latex and rip it. And make a little hole in it. And you just kind of pull it around, and eventually it sticks to itself. So you're going to get kind of a hole, whatever size you want, and then just keep making a couple more. So I like to do ones like these, where it's kind of like 2 burns, but they're not connected. And like I said, it just sticks to itself, so you just kind of pull it around, and it does what you want. Try not to push too hard with the tweezers, obviously, because you don't want to cut yourself. And another thing is that liquid latex does have ammonia in it, so you do want to make sure that you do it in a well-ventilated area. I have my window open behind my camera, because it really does get a bit stinky. Alright, so these are the little rips. I don't know how well... Yeah, no, that's pretty good. Alright, so that's what I'm going to start with. And like I said, I used way too much latex. You don't need any, basically. I'm going to start... I use a concealer brush just because it's a little bit easier to work into the little holes and whatnot. And you're just going to paint inside the little areas that you ripped up. Doesn't have to be perfect, because you're going to put a lot of other things in it and around it. Try to make sure that you concentrate it inside the burns. Don't get it on top of the liquid latex. So you have the lipstick inside the burns. Obviously it kind of looks fake now at this point because it's not too much detail, but now I'm going to take my e.l.f. palette and I'm going to use a dark purpley brown. Like I said, there's no exact science to it. And basically all you're going to want to do is put this around the edges. You don't need it all the way around either. It's just really to give it that depth where it makes it seem more embedded and burned down. And then I kind of just pat it around in there. Blend it a little bit better. Obviously it looks a little grosser. Alright, and then, like I said, I use a face primer. And I just put a bit over the latex because it doesn't like to hold very well. Most stuff just kind of comes right off of it. Which is why when you are doing this, you want to take into account where you're putting it, because if it's an area that's going to get a lot of business, it's going to get a lot of touching done, it's probably not a better area. So faces, the back of hands, really good areas. Alright, so I took the foundation and I just rubbed it over the liquid latex. Obviously that looks really bad right now. You're going to take a translucent powder, just a loose powder, and a big fluffy brush, and go over the foundation. Try not to get it too much in the burns, but it's going to be kind of unavoidable. Alright. So, now I'm going to do the bruising around the back and the burns. And you're literally just going to take some green, take some yellows, some purples, and just blob it in there. Because like I said, there's no exact science to this. When I do this on the back of my hands, because obviously some of it gets a little bit grosser than others, I like to wear a long sleeve, or I'll take a bandage and wrap up my wrist to about my elbow to make the illusion seem that there's worse burns up on my arms. But this is how to make burns with liquid latex. And don't worry, Nate, if you really need me to, we can still meet up for that tea party, and we'll do this in person. Alright? Bye!